pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call, please, Joyce.
Board Member Drake.
Here.
Board Member Nysel. Board Member Steen.
Here.
Board Member Van Blarkum.
Here.
Supervisor DeSclafani.
Here. Please read the notice, Joyce.
Town of Shandaken will hold a public hearing on amending the STR short-term rental law prior to our next meeting, Monday, October 7th, 2024, 6:30 p.m. To hear all those who are here, all those for or against restricting multifamily dwellings and requiring a 2-year or more residency. Do you want me to read the rest so we covered all? Glenbrook and all that?
Nice.
Town of Shandaken has extended the RFP for repairs at Glenbrook Park to Monday, October 7th. Bids are required to be at the town clerk's office by 3 p.m. on that day, and a clearly marked Glenbrook bid on the sealed envelope. Bids will only be accepted that night, not a day. A special meeting to award the Glenbrook bid has been scheduled for Tuesday, October 15th at 6 p.m. at Shandaken Town Hall, 7209 State Route 28. 6
Thank you,
p.m.
Joyce. So right now we have a public hearing on the amended changes to the STR law. Robert, why don't you read the brief change we're making?
So the proposed change to Section 3, Part P of Local Law Number 2 of 2022 would be to add the line, only one STR rentable dwelling unit shall be allowed per parcel. The language in the resolution also includes some language that would effectively grandfather in anybody who is a recipient of a current in good standing STR license that may have multiple dwelling units under that license. One bit of background that I think some people might have more current information than I do, but there's a law currently in front of the governor's office, and to the best of my knowledge, she has not yet signed, that would enable towns to pass would effectively be a hospitality tax on the revenue of short-term rentals. I know that was something that came up in conversation a number of times when the law was originally discussed, but
Right.
Towns were not at that time, nor currently, allowed to pass a sales tax. But that law is, unless it's been signed very recently, currently on the governor's desk. So kind of regardless of what happens today, I think there's probably a decent likelihood that at least some aspects of the law might get looked at again in light of whatever may happen with that particular law change.
Right. If anyone would care to comment on the amendment to the STR law, please come on up. Vivian's first. Go ahead.
No, I'd like to compliment the board on,
Come on.
okay,
We're
Vivian
casual.
Melton, Phoenicia resident, STR owner. I'd like to compliment the board on having thought out the issue and come out with a very concise and clear solution, and thank you for doing that.
Evening, board members. Is this for the absentee STRs or the resident STRs? Is this amendment
Across the board.
across the board? Okay. Because, the website's been stating for a long time that the moratorium for the owner residents is coming up at the end of September, which is basically now.
Yeah, no more moratorium.
No more moratorium. And I just want to be
That's
clear
expired.
that there's no changes to the owner resident.
No.
Apart from, that regulation that you're allowed one.
Exactly.
per parcel. Okay.
Would you let the audience know your name? I'm sorry.
Oh, sorry, Joyce. Tom Fraser,
Yep.
resident of Phoenicia.
And we have the resolution there on our resolutions, yeah, the one about the cap, the big thing, yeah.
Thank you.
Sophie, you wanted to speak?
Thank you. So Sophie Grant from Shandaken.
There you go.
Thank you.
I'm getting everybody ready for next week, or next month.
So just because it mentions Shandaken Housing Smart Task Force, I think I just wanted to share with people the recommendations that we made to the town board, which included reducing the cap on non-resident licenses to 100, which is the next resolution. Adding language that stipulates multiple dwelling units or apartments of 3 or more units are not eligible for STR licenses. And then going forward, that there can only be one unit per license per property, because right now the license stipulates it could be unlimited number of units, essentially, right? So I think this helps a lot with that. And that the waiting period or the holdback term for a recently purchased property increases from 1 year to 2 to 3 years. But that we thought a minimum of 2 years would be appropriate. So anyway, I think overall it's a step in the right direction. I think the fact that the next resolution, even though the moratorium is lifted for non-residents, that the cap is lowered, so that effectively helps to just continue the attrition. And if anyone has thoughts on SDR or other housing issues, to come to our housing meetings or email shandakenhousing@gmail.com. Thank you.
Since Sophie brought it up, I was just wondering what the board's position so far is in extending the waiting period for applying for a new STR license. I think currently it's 1 year after acquiring the property or moving in as a resident.
Did we forget to slip that in?
No, I mean, really, I don't know if you want to speak to this more, but I think we had some general concerns as to whether that would have sort of unintended consequences with non-corporate owners. I think the potential hang up there, and this isn't really stating an opinion either side, it was a potential concern of would a corporate owner be more able to wait out a 2-year waiting period of time than a individual owner, and would that actually unintentionally encourage more corporate ownership of STRs as opposed to, individuals? And we, I think, had some concern that could maybe have unintended consequences, and I think part of the idea was to defer in the hopes of maybe getting a little bit more information, whether something like that has been implemented elsewhere, and did it have an impact in the way that it would be expected to have an impact, or again, other adverse results.
Thank you, I understand.
We'll give it 10 more minutes and then take a 10-minute recess. I put a call out to, on a different note, about parking. I put a call out to the Supervisors Association, if what they do for municipal parking, how much they charge. I haven't received any info back yet. I don't know if you've done any investigation.
No, not really. I'm thinking.
I mean, we have the law.
I know there's been
We don't have a fee schedule, and when we put together a fee schedule, what are we gonna base it on?
And how would we go to businesses that don't have any parking and that have been there or who don't meet parking? I mean, I think the Phoenician probably meets parking, but
Well, it's not that
actually,
we're
I'm not-
gonna knock them
what would we
for
do with
not
this? Yeah.
meeting parking, it's just that new businesses
We
that
want
come
to just
along,
table
such
this
as the
meeting
Wellington.
closed and just go to recess. Sure do.
We can do that, sure.
I mean, or give it, instead of waiting 10 minutes, waiting. One more, I just,
Okay,
Motion to close the public hearing if there are no other public comments.
second.
all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Need to go bathroom.
I knew there was a motivating factor.
We didn't have to close the public hearing for home meeting.
Well, but now he isn't pressured to hurry back, you know.
Rush, rush, rush.
That's not healthy.
No, it's not.
Guys, can you move his
Been busy.
microphone up a little bit?
Oh,
towards
God,
him?
yes.
Very busy, good.
There you
Good busy or catch up busy?
No, no, it's good busy.
Good.
It's good busy. It's all productive,
go. I got a bottle to
Good.
give to
beneficial busy.
Joseph Preboy. This is registered Charles A. Wood, Shandaken. It was donated by a guy up in Lexington who found it.
Very cool.
Well, I tried to look up that name for, bottling company, it didn't come up. But it's an old one, it's got the old seam and a cork.
Get your dad moved?
I don't know why you put paper on the bottom, I guess to protect it.
but he's unhappy with the new place, so
Mhm.
trying to figure
Wow,
it out.
interesting.
It's cool.
Give him something to do tonight, he can clean that bottle. It's in the jacket.
Carefully.
They couldn't clean it.
Bring that Patrick.
Bernardo said they're gonna get us engagement letters for the potential hosts by the end of the week for the training on check reconciliation. At the end of the week, we should have a
Did you go in and do that SFS stuff? When did we?
yeah, we're good on SFS. And actually, that reminds me, I don't know that we really need to again, because we kind of already did, but we should do a motion to submit a New York Ford application.
Families in town.
Shannon, it's all ready to go.
Okay.
And I've got to log in. I can,
Okay,
I mean, it's Italian Heritage Day.
so, sorry.
That's okay.
Just what I just mentioned, a motion to apply for
Been that way. I mean,
a New York Ford application for Pine Hill. We did it last
I mean,
year,
that's
but we
pretty much
didn't
what it
get
is,
the
right?
grant.
Right.
But like, Jan and a whole bunch of others said,
Yeah.
like, it's a really good job, and we'd get 10 million. So,
yeah. I'm in.
I haven't heard from Peg yet.
oh, whatever that was. Yeah.
Hey, I could wait to comment on resolutions, but we're actually appointing Phoenicia Water Board members.
I looked in the.
We're the board members. They're just a committee.
We identify it as the board on our town website.
We do. I pulled up the original law.
Okay.
That's the actual.
Committee. Good, because I really don't like the waterboarding committee.
I don't know. That doesn't seem like that's a problem.
I think we could use it in this town, to be honest, but I don't think we should advertise it as openly. It goes against the federal policy. Then we just change the website to reflect it. Change the, it says, so we can say committee. I think this is a very good change. And I did have a final conversation with Catherine
Hair.
2 days ago.
Haber.
And Haber, and she's 100% yes. Yeah. Now that we're appointing her, I guess that's good.
Yeah.
the Digital Equity Commission thing, March's fan club
Yeah.
that I am a member of, but, so she wants to potentially buy sat phones for all the fire departments when this part goes to County, partially because she's just fed up with Emmerich or whatever his name is, Erickson.
Here's a little wrench in the gears. Phoenicia does have a sat phone. Usually the chief has it, and
Would they benefit from one or two more?
it wouldn't hurt. And they do work in a lot of places,
Even that was done fully.
but they don't fully work. We went to the end of Woodland Valley, or up towards the end of Woodland Valley. It didn't work there. We went a bunch of different places.
I can imagine some of those hollows, yeah.
And
Yeah.
it doesn't always work. And even Everett had, the county owns this, and would bring it up under any emergency, some gizmo that triangulates any close near cell towers. And that was supposed to, even with the cell phone, even with your cell phone, it was supposed to connect
And
to.
even that didn't do anything.
It worked in Phoenicia.
Yeah. I just know that she's peeved at emergency services generally right now.
Yeah.
Need an executive session tonight on the one we're gonna do it.
I'm sorry?
Need an executive session tonight.
Do we want an executive
No,
session?
I do.
You do?
Yes.
Okay.
Do you care when?
No. When do you want to do it?
How are you?
Doesn't matter.
Do you want to do it at the end of the meeting? Or
I'm happy to
do
go
it in
in.
the middle?
Everyone likes
Hello, how are you?
I don't think I've seen,
Okay, perfect.
maybe it hasn't happened yet,
It's
any
a
follow-up
personnel
paperwork on
issue.
that. 50,000, are they still churning through things?
I
I
wasn't
mean, there's no
supposed to
hurry,
tell you,
but.
What I do now?
I submitted the two
Okay.
I think you know what you did. I think you know what you did. Because I didn't.
Okay, so then we had to,
So Mina
Okay.
required,
okay,
and
I just opened it.
the real, good on her.
September 30th, it went in.
Okay.
So it's been a little bit.
Oh, that's fine, okay. Well, as long as,
As long as I get it right.
yeah, no, I'm not worried about, like, as long as I haven't missed anything as far as like no.
No, one of them, the first one was
Okay.
to, and then the second one will be approved, and then that was really
The award, right, okay, cool.
I know, and now I have enough. Now I think I have another, for the meeting and.
You're getting it faster than we can spend it.
Well, we haven't got that, that's still.
Also,
What are we gonna do next year?
just sit in the pollinator garden and watch.
And, maybe we'll get the natural resource inventory grant.
Also, I mean, it's a little early, but there are some of those, like bronze activities. Because in the last 5 years, before we have to recertify, that probably need to be, I mean, not most of them are fine, but there's a handful of them that we might have to kind of look at again, like run another public training, like that. So, no, they'll be planning, they'll be planning.
And there was a big deal with the other.
I know, because they called me.
And well, when I came over, I went over and I talked to Nancy, and she said, within the next day or two, she'll DEP, and they're like, oh, what are we gonna do with Nancy? And she was, you know, been 18 years or 15 years old, because there was an issue with a woman. And just her personality changed, and she got really mean and nasty. And Nancy was trying to keep friends with, and she the pets that she had. And we didn't feel were helping. But in some way, hi, Joe. Good. Somehow, Nancy said something nasty in an email.
Pretty much in the initial feedback.
And it wasn't, she was just having her wits end a lot of different things.
I'm interested in, what they're expecting.
Town hall relocation, have you made any kind of conclusion about
What they're thinking about. Okay. And
I'm thinking Paris. I'm thinking Paris. That would be a nice place for town hall.
There are a lot of irons in the fire. It's, we're waiting for.
How's it going, Chad?
DEP will actually give us land, but that's gonna be a couple of year process.
Mr. Agent?
Hi, Chad.
That's right.
Congrats, how'd it go?
It was awesome.
What did you do?
Pretty amazing experience. I attended the FBI National Council. It's, so like about 1% of places that we attend. Law school, down at Quantico.
You were gone for 3 months. We didn't know about it?
I was back home.
I kept it on
We knew.
QT.
George,
George had it covered, yeah.
Knew about it. I was back a couple weekends.
I bet. Wow.
So my roommate was from Tennessee. My one suite mate was from just outside of Chicago. And my other suite mate was from Dubai. 24 international students in my class. Yeah, here we are. We're back.
Took them all on vacation. You wanted me to tell you, he taught you everything you know.
What not to say.
Yeah. Yeah. You know how to use Facebook. Use Facebook. Yeah. The right way. There we go. That's why I love Facebook.
When you do the report, will you tell us about your?
If you're allowed.
200 words or less.
3 minutes.
I know how he can ramble on.
Nothing confidential. She did the application.
Government is really
Can you just confirm one thing?
Yes, ma'am.
I think her name
I mean, I know, so it's Carrie's all over. I know. I was thinking James Mennel when I typed it. I couldn't even think of her last name. Oh, Libby. It is, I got it. I fixed it on mine too, so I'll fix the minutes. Thank you.
He's quite proud tonight.
excitement we have.
Yeah.
I hope that here's the elevator.
We can dream.
It's easy to deflect from the left part.
I'm right next to the top.
I'm right next to the Target.
I'm not even on camera, man.
I'm making that more than I was sitting in Santa Fe.
Good, how are you?
My kid and another
Good,
friend
good.
takes karate at 28 West Gym. So I dropped them off. I go have dinner, drink. And this guy's sitting around the corner from me. He goes, "You from Phoenicia?" Like, yes. I seen you on TV.
Oh, good.
Jackie's from
Oh, Louis.
Louis. I never met him before. He's my next door neighbor practically.
So I've known Louis for a very long time.
Really nice
Obviously,
guy.
he's Gary's brother.
Yeah,
And that's
yeah.
I've always known him as Gary's brother. Jackie is Google met him.
Yeah.
So he comes to the brewery a lot.
Oh, does he?
And I came in one day and I was like, oh, I met your brother. And she was
His
like,
back's coming or just?
he met my brother. I was like, Louis. And she followed me around yelling at me for an hour. That's not my husband. What do you think? I married my brother. I was like, I was just connecting the last name.
Yeah. Yeah, I didn't know Miss Kitty's a Louis mother. I only learned that very recently. They're everywhere.
You sure are.
And I was hesitant to bring up other family members because, you know. Cool. Very good. I knew it was safe to bring up John to Louis.
I'd be like, what's your relationship? It was a learning experience.
Said that I, pointed out who he was, and we're like, usually this it was a pre-established. There was no real.
Usually like pass this on to generations.
Yeah, exactly. Of course, I mentioned that I still hang out with this person. He doesn't get. Oh, so you probably know my brother. He's like, yeah, I wasn't gonna bring it up.
Not as good, but I heard that DEP approved our parking lot project. It still
Yeah.
has to go through
That's what I
the
said.
CWC hurdle, but we'll get at least some drainage in the parking lot.
Are we gonna do a motion to do environmental?
Are we all okay with it? I was gonna bring that up next. We'll talk about it and then make the motion for the
Phase one?
environmental study.
Yeah, well,
for
he
the
did a
parking
pretty detailed explanation of what it was. Yeah, I was never opposed to it. I just wanted to know what it was.
lot. No, I know, but I just
well,
wanna
phase
make
one?
sure
Phase
we're
one?
all, yeah,
Yeah.
we're all on the same page.
Phase one, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
It's phase one, what did I miss?
The environmental review on.
Yeah, so you're just gonna vote by, you don't have to read the whole thing, do you?
It'd just be a motion.
Yeah, just do a motion to accept it.
This is the environmental review.
Oh, that. I didn't hear anything about
All
that.
right, 7 o'clock. Let's go.
Seeker's different.
Eric's here. We can start.
Put your microphone on.
He's writing. He's writing.
Don't spit out your drink. Don't spit out your drink.
Eric's here. We can go.
Please rise. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Board Member Drake?
Here.
Board Member Nysel?
Here.
Board Member Steen?
Here.
Board Member Van Blarkum?
Here.
Supervisor DeSclafani?
Here. Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Supervisor's financial report. Vital statistics, 374. Zoning fees, 575. Ambulance fees, 13,108. Town clerk fees, Easy Pass, $95.50. Cell tower, SBA, $2,600, $1.96. Higley payment, $260.55. Building permit fees, $7,324.70. Dog licenses, $55.50. Health and dental reimbursements, $4,286.28. Planning, $500. Gas and diesel, $31,829.21. Reese Group insurance reimbursement, $524. STR receivables, $13,300. Justice fees, $3,836. Glenbrook fees, $150. Sales tax, $48,751.22. New York State OSC, CCD funds and state aid,
We're not sure what it's for. $988. NYSERDA, $10,000. Beth, interest on accounts, $13,895. Shandaken Cemetery, $400. Police fees, $15, for a total of $152,870.89. Notes. Of the many resolutions, I am highlighting a few. Tonight I'm presenting our tentative budget to be accepted as preliminary, and we will schedule a public hearing to hear comments in favor or opposed. The increase is 1.52%. We will open bids on our Glenbrook Park improvements. As a reminder, we've received a $125,000 grant for these improvements. We will work more thoroughly and decide on October 15th at a special meeting at 6 p.m. We have an approval from DEP for our Pine Hill parking lot stormwater retrofit, and we're still awaiting CWC for finalized details. We're amending our STR law to hopefully encourage more long-term rental availability. We're honoring the life of esteemed resident Nancy Smith by naming the Academy Street Stone Bridge the Nancy Smith Bridge. And Chad's back. Yay! Don't forget to vote. Our next regular meeting is November 6th.
I have two announcements to make. But first of all of our events and ongoing events are listed on our website, shandaken.us, on the front page. I update it every day, just about. And then I always post it on our Facebook page. So I was told by Eric, our highway superintendent, to tell you all that wood chips are available at Glenbrook Park.
The lower parking lot.
The lower parking lot. Don't take the stone, obviously those aren't for free, but there are wood chips there. Because people have been complaining they're not here. We had to move them from here because of FEMA, some DEC, whatever. So, and the other announcement is that Amy mailed out the water bills for Pine Hill and Phoenicia. And the water bills for both districts are due at the end of the month, and you'll next be billed in the spring. So it's 2 billings a year now for both districts, and they get billed at the same time.
Yep.
And you can make your payment either by check or on our website, shandakenpayments.com. Please put in your bill number, not your address, and the account number is on your bill. And that's it. You can pay by check or credit card.
Thank you,
Online.
Joyce. Committee reports. Kyle, ambulance.
Town of Shandaken Ambulance Service Report, September 2024. Total calls received, 28. Mutual aid given, 3. First aid in Woodstock. Mutual aid received, 0. Total May reports, 28. Total transports, 16. Total non-transport standby relocations, 12. It's starting to get cooler, and by the end of this month, it will become very spooky. But a few weeks before the ghouls and goblins take to the streets, we observe one of my personal favorite weeks, Fire Prevention Week. The history of Fire Prevention Week goes back to 1925 when President Coolidge made the first proclamation. Many may not realize that this very week, observed from Sunday to Saturday, when October 9th falls, commemorates the Great Chicago Fire that burned over 3 square miles of that city in 1871. The fire left over 100,000 homeless, burned 17,000 structures, and 300 people lost their lives. With every year, there is a theme to Fire Prevention Week, and this year's theme is Smoke Alarms, Make Them Work for You. Now, anyone who pays attention to any of these safety tidbits in the monthly report should be a smoke alarm and carbon monoxide alarm superstar. But for you, newcomers, please consider the following safety tips. Install smoke alarms in every bedroom, outside each separate sleeping area, like a hallway, and on each level, including the basement, of the home. Make sure smoke alarms meet the needs of all family members, including those with sensory or physical disabilities. Test smoke alarms at least once a month by pushing the test button. Replace all smoke alarms when they are 10 years old. As always, contact your local fire department for any Fire Prevention Week activities, and for more information about Fire Prevention Week and smoke alarms, visit fpw.org. Stay safe. Richard Muller-Liley, EMTP, Chief of Department, Town of Shandaken Ambulance Service.
Thanks, Kyle. Ellie, for building zoning.
Okay, this month, Building Department activity for September 2024. We issued 5 certificates of compliance, 28 building permits, 1 demolition permit, 4 floodplain permits, 2 certificates of occupancy. 6 pre-inspection visits were performed, as well as 6 inspections.
Thanks, Ally. Police, Chad.
Hi, everybody. And as Pete said, I am back. I was very fortunate to be selected and to attend the FBI National Academy. No, I'm not a federal agent now, and no, I'm not going to work for the FBI. We're just sponsored by the FBI. It's training that's been going on since 1935. I was fortunate to be a member of Section 291. There's 253 of us from across the United States and across the world. We had 24 international students in my class. So what do they train us in down there? It's all law enforcement, leadership, executive training. It's run just like a college semester. It's 10 weeks. You get to pick your classes, and it's writing papers and all that stuff that I did 25 years ago when I was in college. But trying to get back on the swing of things a little bit. The other component of that was the physical fitness component and an officer wellness component, which the final PT test for that was a 6.2-mile run called the Yellow Brick Road. And if anybody goes on YouTube, you'll be able to just search Yellow Brick Road and it'll come up with all the videos of what the Yellow Brick Road actually entailed. It's an amazing experience. It was an amazing opportunity. 1% of law enforcement executives are able to go to this. Highly, very prestigious training, and I was fortunate to be selected to go. I was away for 10 weeks, but I had a great crew here and great support of the town board, and everything was smooth as well. So thanks for all your support. I really appreciate it. It was an amazing opportunity.
Congrats.
Can you read the report? Everybody read it
Do you have a
now.
report, Kevin?
Sure.
Sure. Why?
Total of 132 incidents in the month of September.
There you go.
Beautiful.
Anything on Phoenicia Water? No. Anything on Pine Hill Water? No. Museum, Joe.
The Shandaken Historical Museum Monthly Report for September 2024. The museum participated in the Phoenicia Farmers Market on most of the Sundays in September, offering books, historical images, stories, and stories to the public presented from our museum table. There continues to be a great interest by the community to interact, visit, and use the museum. We really enjoyed doing this. On September 21st, historian, photographer, tour guide, hiker, Paul Misko gave a visually impressive presentation about author John Burroughs, his personal history, and his attempts to scale Slide Mountain. It was attended by a number of hikers and local history enthusiasts. The museum is preparing a presentation that will be given by Cynthia Nikitin of the Brunel Park Sculpture Garden on Sunday, October 13th at 1 p.m. at the museum. There will also be a museum exhibit of the Brunel Sculpture Park up on all through the month of October. Grants for a number of proposed new exhibits are being prepared and submitted for next year, including the New York Forward Grant in collaboration with Jan Jaffe and the Hotel Wellington in Pine Hill, New York. The plan is to start applying for grants that would help fund interactive exhibits to enhance the quality and depth of our exhibitions, attracting more visitors and tourists to Pine Hill and to the museum. A table promoting the museum was on display at the Phoenicia Ulster Savings Bank branch during September to present Shandaken history and museum events to bank customers. The museum is improving both the exterior and interior of the building, getting ready for winter, and working to improve overall heating and dehumidifying. We are looking into decarbonizing strategies and possible EV parking in coordination with some of our upcoming grant proposals. There were over 40 visitors in September to the museum from New York City, New Jersey, the West Coast, and Europe. Many museum visitors are regional history buffs doing research. They often left donations and grateful messages. Respectfully submitted, Joseph Breboy.
Thank you, Joe.
I have a dedication of that was, I was asked to read from the board of the Shandaken Historical Museum for the proposed Nancy Smith Bridge in Pine Hill, New York. It's called the Nancy Smith Bridge, the bridge that connects the past with the future. Nancy Smith was born in Pine Hill, New York, a small rural hamlet in the town of Shandaken on May 1st, 1938. At a very early age, she seemed to have an unquenchable love for history, especially for the history of Shandaken. She often saw the need to preserve artifacts that would tell a story about the history of her surroundings. As she grew older, she developed a love for collecting these special items. It was her calling in life. She then began studying at the university level about the preservation and presentation of historical artifacts. After developing this knowledge, she wrote a book about Pine Hill and its history. She soon gained local respect, becoming the official historian of Pine Hill, along with the town of Shandaken and its 12 hamlets. In the 1980s, Nancy saw that a uniquely beautiful 1926 two-story building at 26 Academy Street was dormant, unused, and available. It had served as Pine Hill's main grade school for 40 years. Because of her tenacity and knowledge, her dream of developing a museum with a large collection of local artifacts and stories could be properly housed and displayed. It finally became a reality. On October 21st, 1989, the town of Shandaken Historical Museum opened its doors to the public with Nancy as its director. She would now put in years of work making her dream of a great museum a reality for both current and future generations. It is this recommendation of the Museum Board of Directors that the town christen the bridge near Main and Academy Street the Nancy Smith Bridge, honoring the memory of Nancy Smith and symbolizing the rich connection between the town's past, present, and future. A bridge that continues to help build the history of our community. We are proud to continue Nancy's great work of providing and developing the town of Shandaken Historical Museum as a valuable historical and educational resource. It will continue to offer the intriguing history of the town of Shandaken and its 12 hamlets to local residents and tourists alike. Thank you.
Thank you, Joseph, and thank you to the board. Sam, Parks and Rec.
Okay. Our last meeting was held on Wednesday, September 25th, 6 p.m. at Smith Park, and then we moved over to Morton Memorial Library. We're hoping to meet October 23rd, and Joyce, I will send you confirmation on that.
Okay.
I'd like to thank multiple people for helping us with fundraising and grant efforts for the parks. Jan Jaffe has included Smith Park in the New York Forward Grant application for Pine Hill. Colleen McMurray from the Pine Hill Community Centers helped us and included us with the Laura Jane Musser Fund through the Rural Initiative Program. Barbara Mansfield, Autumn Brookmeyer, Robert Drake, they've helped us submit the application for CREST funding for the Glenbrook Park Playground upgrade, which is looking good for us. Sophie Grant and Hillary Smith both provided information on two other smaller grants that we could apply for. And just thanking everyone because the applications take a significant amount of time and require everyone to work together. And so I appreciate the inclusion and thinking of us with those grant opportunities. Talking about bids for Glenbrook Park, that'll be decided in another couple weeks. We discussed that all 4 parks should have porta potties. So right now, Glenbrook has one, and so does Big Indian, but we felt, especially with the decision to put the skate park at Smith Park, it would be great to have one there. And while the farmers market does have one at Parish Field, we would appreciate one in Parish Field additionally, because that is theirs for their Sundays. So we'd like to have that for every day of the week in 2025. We'd also like to discuss the issue of garbage, which is an issue I think across multiple committees that I'm on, that there's not any public way to dispose of garbage, and so then the garbage gets left at the parks that they're visiting. So we were gonna do some research on seeing what the cost would be for the warmer months when people are using the parks, and seeing how we could get maybe, I don't want dumpsters in the parks, but I feel like it's the only way to avoid trash being left, because you can have as many signs that say carry in, carry out. People that are leaving garbage aren't caring about those signs. So I know it's been a problem across all the.
I can tell you, everybody in
Yeah.
town will just go and use the dumpster.
Yeah, they started using
Right.
those.
That's the problem
We have
with
to chain it up. You have
an
to chain
open
it.
trash
We're good with
can.
it. You know, it's, usually the suggestion was whoever is managing the park, we don't have a lot of volunteers that do cleanup.
Right.
So that would be a goal.
Right.
And then they could bring their garbage to the town hall. Should be cleaned up every Sunday or Monday. You know, if we got
Okay, I
volunteers.
can suggest that to my
Or,
managers.
you know, the courts could maybe have people do it. I don't know, you know, but there's gotta be somebody. It's the only way in the rural area.
Yeah.
It's like why we don't even have garbage cans on Main Street. You can't because of the raccoons and everything else.
Right, and so that was something we also discussed, is that, like, I think of Tannersville, where I grew up also, and we have more space on sidewalks, which sidewalks are also an issue, have more space on the sidewalks to install permanent garbage cans that have only enough room for you to put small amounts of garbage, not like bags of garbage. But then the question becomes who's gonna collect them, and I don't think that Eric is raising his hand, so.
He left the room when you said sidewalks.
It started that.
He left the room when you said sidewalks.
Yeah, I checked out when I said sidewalks, because again, it's something that comes to me often, is the sidewalks, but
See, the
I
park-
don't really have the ability.
The parks
to-
have become so big and so important and so
Yeah.
great that a parks manager used to be just the person that turned up. And now it's the person that gets grant money and does improvements.
That's what I mean, like, I
So
feel
we
like
need
the-
another level of
Yeah.
volunteers, maybe kids or teenagers, you know, maybe do a whole, yeah, well, I don't know. Old elderly people, I don't know.
Let's let Sam finish her report and get yours later.
Oh, my God. Yeah.
All I know is I'm not gonna volunteer for that one. I'm
No, I already
saying
did
no,
my spiel.
finally.
Oh, good.
So, okay, regardless. Anyway, I'd love to just double check on that, see what the quote is. We're gonna probably do that research regardless, if you don't wanna go with that option of actual dumpsters in the parks and garbage collection for the summer, we'll figure out something else. So, I get that. We also wanted to talk about adding electric to Smith Park. So we were gonna reach out to NYSEG and see what they could do to put a meter on, you know, a lower meter on one of the poles that's existing there. But I think, again, especially with the installation of the skate park there,
Yep.
and like the potential to have events, that we would like to have electric there, just
Well, I
for,
think we could reach out to an electrician and get bids on what it would take for them to put, like we have in Phoenicia,
Right.
to have a panel that,
and again, I don't know what it takes to completely install that from nothing, but we did the fix-up of the panel
Phoenician,
at
yeah.
Parish Field,
Yeah.
and that wasn't super costly,
it
so I
wasn't
would love
too-
if we could do
and pretty
something like
much
that.
that was doing it from scratch because.
It
that-
had to be completely replaced.
That whole one was,
Right.
the old one was not good.
So do we need permission from NYSEG, or we
Yes.
could? because
Yeah, but the electrician usually does that.
Okay. We'll have an electrician
They
in mind.
set it
that
up
did the
and
Parish
blah,
one.
blah, blah, yeah.
Yeah, okay, great.
Nice against
Skate park project is moving forward, now that they have a Smith Park location. Pine Hill Fire Department, I want to thank them because they did come and pressure wash both the basketball court and the tennis court. That is now the home of the skate park, so that they could seal coat both of those. So they did the basketball court for us because they do find that kids are going there to skate. They are also then going and playing basketball. So that was really nice. So we appreciate their efforts on that. I lost my spot, I'm sorry. There's a lot of phases to come, and I know there's been some concerns from neighbors in that park about noise and things like that. So we just want to let everyone know that if you're a neighbor to Smith Park, we will be probably going into different phases of building in that park for the skate park, but it will all be presented to the town board. And I encourage everyone to keep an eye on the Town of Shandaken's website for any public hearings or things like that that are gonna go on. And to come to Parks and Rec meetings to voice your concerns and hope we can help
Join
alleviate
as a
some of the
volunteer.
concerns. Huh?
Join as a volunteer.
Well, that too, would love that. I love volunteers, yes. We want to thank the highway and Steve for putting the mulch under the Parish Field swings and around some of the other equipment that's there. There's going to be, we would like to add more of the mulch, so thankfully it's
Now you know
free
where it
and
is.
whatever. But yeah, Steve did that for us, and Autumn and Nick bought rubber mats that go underneath the swings because when you're swinging, it's going to dig up the mulch. So those have been installed. We're also working on, we purchased a special needs chair swing for Parish Field and swing chains because there was an issue with the length of them. And so we're hoping that those can be installed before the winter. Nick Torres is our Smith Park manager, and he's very handy and would love to do that. And I'm hoping that he can collaborate with Steve and get that scheduled so that they can get those installed. And then in the spring, we're looking to do some pressure washing, cleaning of the awful looking slide that's at Parish Field and the teeter-totter, and repaint those so that they're more inviting. Also, when I was going, I'm going to go backwards because I totally missed this part, but like maybe I said this already, maybe the Crest grant looks good for us. So we're excited about that.
Thank you.
Come on up. And I think that's all I've got. The shredder, the skate park project shredders. So Eric and Edric and Kerry and their friends and Brian and Mario, they were all there helping out, and they had an event there last weekend, and I think it went well. I don't see Kerry here, but I think it went well, and I'm sure they're going to be doing more fundraising for the future. So.
Thank you, Sam. Housing Smart.
Hard to follow Parks and Rec. They're so successful. Well, first up, we have an event coming up at our next meeting on October 28th. We have the Pine Hill Wellington coming to present some information about their project, about how they got together to basically save almost derelict or needing to be possibly torn down historic hotel in Pine Hill, and are now on the way to converting it into affordable housing, into a vibrant economic development project, and all doing it with their neighbors and their friends in Pine Hill. And we really admire their work and think it could set a good model and standard for other things that can happen in our town. So October 28th, Monday at 7 p.m., right here at the housing meeting. We have a few flyers here, and we'll post it on Facebook, and we'll share it with Joyce. Oh, I thought you were going to say something.
Videotape that? Do you videotape that? Do you want it videotaped?
Do you want to videotape it?
Well, what have you been doing? Have you been just doing the phone?
For special presentations.
Yeah.
Do you want to?
Oh, you're talking about video, not this flyer, the actual program.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I mean,
missed
is
that.
it worth, I mean, you know. if you-
I mean, I think it's worth it. I think it's super interesting. They just won an incredible grant, and it would be really, it's only if they're
Are you gonna
comfortable with it,
You gonna have
but.
maps and pictures and things? Cool presentations?
She will now.
I know. That would be nice. I mean, is that possible? Do you want that video?
Yeah. Sure.
Can you
I
guys
mean,
video that? The Housing
Well,
Smart
just
Monday?
ask Jan if she
Give her
wants.
the flyer. There you go.
Jan's always camera.
Here's always that.
If for some reason that can't happen, we can arrange to do it on a phone.
All right, well,
and share it.
Leanne, you'll let her know, okay?
Okay, thank you. The other thing we wanted to note, certainly we've been talking about ADUs, accessory dwelling units, for a while, because it's a great way to increase housing availability. And the county certainly thinks so, and they created, along with RUBCO, the +1 Home Program, which is a grant program to build an ADU on your property. I think it was awards up to $125,000. They did round 1 last year. Round 2 is currently happening. And I don't know if you looked on the site, you'll see Shandaken is not listed as an eligible town, as a place that you can do a project. So I reached out and got more information as to why that is, and it's a few things. But to the Housing Smart Task Force, we see this as like, now we have a real bullet list of action items to work with our town planning and our town boards to figure out how we can tackle this. Because it feels achievable, but we need to work together. But basically, in a nutshell, there has to be known interest from a municipality. So they had round 1. There was a handful of applications from Shandaken. I don't know if they reached out to the board specifically to ask you your opinion about this, but I think they were mostly going off of last round's number of applications.
They meaning the county or
The county, yes,
applicants?
county planning.
Yeah, no, they never reached
Okay.
out to us.
The second reason that they said we are not included in round 2 is just having ADU-friendly regulations. So right now, you know, in the big picture of whether you can just like come right in, apply for an ADU and have a good chance at that passing, it's very slim chance right now in Shandaken. And I have gotten some good intel, you know, via Grace of like, what are the roadblocks right now that would prevent someone from being able to get an application passed? So we can go back to that in a second. But so according to,
I mean, I want to hear all of this,
Yeah.
of course, but I would rather if you just put it in an email and sent it to us and Grace. And
I'll do
then-
both. How
and then
about that?
we could
I'll
work
do
on
both.
it.
I have one more thing to share.
Okay.
The other aspect is infrastructure, municipal water and sewer. And I'm doing this for everyone's education because when people come to me and say, why isn't Shandaken included in this program? I want to make sure everybody understands why. So, you know, as we know, we don't have a lot of municipal sewer and water systems here. And so that's a roadblock, obviously. We know this. But this is why we're not in round 2, but they, according to Kai from Ulster County Planning, they want to revisit in round 3 any municipalities that weren't included in round 2. So the door is not totally closed, but certainly I think we need to work on some of these things together and figure out how we can reduce the barriers. So that's why I'm sharing it today, because that's what we're going to be working on. We're going to set meetings with county planning, with RUBCO, with CWC. If you want to be part of those discussions, we'd love to have you involved. But and what? And Ulster Savings Bank, who, you know, part of this too is like there are additional funding opportunities that we can explore, but and Ulster Savings is involved right now in the +1 Home Program funding, so we want to be able to take advantage of that, and, you know, increase our housing availability with ADUs. So until we can tackle this together, and we don't necessarily want to wait for a zoning overhaul, there are things that we can do before that. So I think that's it. Vicky Starr over there.
We need more committee members.
Oh, thank you. We still need more committee members. We only have 4 people, guys. We're a fun bunch, I promise. But it's really hard. These things are not like super cut and dry, and we need people who care about it, who are willing to spend the time to do all the legwork in between the meetings. But please, if this is of interest, we're going to be working with the Comprehensive Plan Committee. We're doing things. Come join us and be part of it. Thank you.
Thank you, Sophie. CAC, Beth.
Hello, I'm Beth Waterman from the Conservation Advisory Council. We have been working this year with NYSERDA's 3 community campaigns, and we're doing very well with those. We've reached Tier 2 for the electric vehicles purchased by residents in the town, and we're almost at Tier 3 for heat pumps, clean heating and cooling. And all of these come with cash awards. And we'll talk more about that when we see the cash. I noted that there was $10,000 in your report that came from NYSERDA, though.
Yep.
It's rolling in. Another thing that we've been working on is a community climate action plan. We wrote a government operations climate action plan this past year, and now we're trying to work on this community action plan, which is a much bigger project. And so we've set aside some workshop meetings for that, and we're planning to have more workshop meetings. But I think that's going to be an ongoing project that will take quite a while. Our next meeting on the 3rd Monday of the month will be related to disaster preparedness. And one exciting announcement. Because of the achieving notable milestones in the Climate Smart Communities program, in a remarkably brief time frame, for the 2nd year in a row, we have been awarded the Momentum Award. Shandaken. This is everyone. Everyone in town. Good. So, I think there's probably a spot here
There's
somewhere.
a spot I need to get I need to get our other one up there too.
Oh, nice frame.
Speaking of the CAC, I don't know if you all remember, Bruce Berry made a presentation to us of the EV charging companies, and he proposed Paizo they were the least for the quotes that they were doing. And I would just like to make the motion that we accept Paizo's offer and quotes.
Do you happen to remember the number?
I have them on my desk, but they were the lowest.
I remember them being the lowest, I just don't remember what the amount
Yeah,
was. But
well, the total was, we would have to come up with about 23. We have 20 coming from NYSERDA, 26 from Ulster County, and it would be another 20 that I put up from the ARPA funds.
And this was placing one in the community center.
One at the parking lot in Pine Hill, one at the medical station in Phoenicia, and one here at the town hall.
I was going to say it's a very high number for the one, but for 3, it's not bad.
Yeah. I remember it being decently priced.
Yeah.
I just don't remember the number offhand, but I did think
We
it
could
was
wait a month to do it, and I can get you the numbers.
or even just do the motion maybe at the end and just grab it. Cool. I
Okay.
was thinking just to make it official with the number would be maybe
Not a bad idea to have the number.
You got it. All right, let's move on. The comprehensive plan is kind of on a hold right now. We're waiting for the state and Pattern for Progress to get some things together. There's a minor hiccup. Okay, we'll move forward with comments on resolutions. Let's do that. Rob?
This is addressing Resolution 119-24, adopting the budget. I did budgets for 12 years in this town. I was on the board 4 years prior to that. This is not a budget. These numbers don't jive. They don't add up. I'll start with the first one out of the gate. Appropriations, $3,501,000. Appropriations, your revenue on the first page here equals $3,413,000. Your expenses equal $3,760,000. So please, send Peter back to the drawing board. I can go through this whole document. Nothing adds up. Nothing adds up. The formulas are incorrect on some of them. The percentages are not adding up. Somebody messed around with the entire spreadsheet. I know because I created this thing, and they all got migrated. Look through the sheet carefully. Nothing is adding up, and you have some set to ask for a $4,000 raise. This is the one thing you have to do, Peter. You are the chief fiscal officer.
That's right.
This thing, I mean, we can keep going through. You have appropriations from last year's $3,558,000. Last year you have here $3,508,000 for last year. So don't look at me puzzled. You wrote this. You spent time on this. This is the one thing you have to do. This is your main purpose of your job. You look at me surprised and with that smirky face. But this is for real. This is our taxes. How do you not have an available budget for these people to look at and make a legitimate decision on whether to approve? I don't see where you guys can approve this. This isn't legit. You can't accept this. He has to go back and redraw this, and you guys have to have another meeting. And really, $4,000? I mean, after all the mistakes, the last year with the shortfall in Phoenicia Water, and then he's given 5% for employees and he wants a 10%? I mean, I hope you guys have a further discussion on this. Really look at these numbers. They don't add up. I don't trust the number he's giving you. I wouldn't trust what's written on his paper. These numbers are not adding up at all. Thank you.
Anybody else?
I just wanted to clarify, so for the ARPA funding, it's not defining what parcel, it's just.
Correct, yeah.
You're just saying that's what you're using that for.
Right.
Okay. And then,
We
will
haven't
there be-
decided specifically what or where we
Sure.
might put the town hall.
Right.
But it gives us a better chance of getting larger grants to show that we are putting skin in the game.
Right. And then, is there an idea of what the process, like what the next steps are from there? Like, are there gonna be meetings or, I don't know, public informative discussions to help people understand the process of choosing where it's gonna go? Or where that, how
Of
that
course.
money is gonna go?
Of course.
Okay,
Of course.
Yeah, those funds need to be earmarked before the end of the year.
right,
That's when they run out, so.
okay. But you don't have to spend them by a certain time?
We have to expend them by the end of next year, by the end of 2025.
Okay, so.
And I've always had them earmarked in all the reports that I've done annually for some kind of town hall renovation, relocation, et cetera.
Okay. So, but if we don't, so basically that means in 2025, we're determining which parcel and that money is going towards that.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
So just going back, do we want to set up a budget workshop? I know there had been some interest from other people on the board, so before, what is it, the 15th?
Yeah,
Yeah,
the
have it
are
up.
gonna be here.
Say again, sir?
I would say yes.
Yeah, second.
What time? Do you wanna do it earlier or? before that, 6 o'clock?
Yeah, well, let's do it
Do it
on the
at 5?
15th, the same day at 5 o'clock.
Yeah.
If it works for everybody else.
Well, who made the motion?
But you will be gone? You will not be
It
available on
look-
the 15th?
Maybe.
Maybe.
Not sure yet.
Okay.
But
Was there,
I
would
can
you want to do
call-
something
I
sooner?
talked to Robert before, I'll be calling in, or
We
we'll
can,
figure something
we can
out.
set another thing, so the
Okay.
15th at 5 o'clock, correct? So I made the
Okay.
motion, I'm happy to second it.
Okay.
Do we want to table Resolution 119 until after that workshop? Is there any?
Yes. Probably all in favor of the first one.
Oh, we didn't
I
all
mean,
favor the first one?
accepting the tentative as preliminary does not marry us to anything, and it can be changed on the 15th, and we can just re-adopt it as the preliminary.
Well, why don't we just wait and adopt it?
We could
then?
do that, too.
Yeah, let's just wait and have the workshop, and then we'll adopt the preliminary budget.
I'll table that.
Once we all in favor of the
Yeah,
workshop.
we still have a motion on the table.
Yeah.
there, Yeah.
Do we have a second?
Yes.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any other comments on resolutions? Okay, we'll make a motion to submit the New York Forward Grant.
Second?
All in favor?
This is on, I mean, Jan, you could give some more details if you wanted to, but this would be the New York Forward application centered around Pine Hill. We did an application last year. Unfortunately, that application was unsuccessful, but through many, many people's very hard work, notably Jan's, it is I think, a very, very strong application. I know I've only seen a draft, but I think the only thing that needed to be fixed was my typo. So this would be for a number of projects centered around, we've heard of, actually from a number of them, support for the skate park, support for the museum, support for the library, support for the Wellington, lighting on Pine Hill, Main Street, and I'm still in your thunder here, so.
I'll just say one or two, just very quickly.
Yes, sure.
14 projects in Pine Hill. There was a community engagement process that took place last year, and again this year, where people came up with ideas. And I just want to say what's been really amazing is that all the projects have really worked hard to put together budgets, to think about what's feasible, what's ambitious, what's manageable, and
The
I think
Housing
it's a-
and Community Renewal Grant that we did.
No,
Is
this
that
is not housing and community renewal. This
Okay.
is from the state, the New York Forward
Well, yeah,
project. Earlier this year, we put in the town put in a housing community renewal project for Main Street property owners to rehabilitate their properties. We're waiting to hear about that. In this particular, in the New York Forward project, we're also putting money in for rehabilitation of projects on Main Street, for solarizing the community center so that it could also provide solar to other businesses, for sidewalk paving on pavers on Main Street in lieu of sidewalks. Woo-hoo. And many other interesting projects. And it's a fabulous proposal, not because of me, but because of everybody in the community that pitched in a lot of work to make this happen. Whether we'll get it or not is a whole other story, but it's a $4.5 million grant if we're awarded. We're also working with Margaretville, Arkville, and Fleischmann's. They're putting together a much larger project for the first time, and we're sort of linking our projects so that the state will see that we collaborate with each other.
thanks, Jan.
You all in favor on that?
Yeah.
You did.
Yeah. And also would like to make a motion to have an environmental study on the proposed Pine Hill parking lot, the fuel depot, before they do and Latini wants to do an appraisal of the property, but they want us to be sure that we're going to do it. So I think to be sure, we should do an environmental assessment. Could cost us around $2,000.
And that's for the phase 1 assessment.
That's the phase 1 assessment.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. Let's move on to resolutions.
Resolution 11424, resolution to pay all bills. Whereas the Department of Audit and Control required town boards to sign and inspect all vouchers coming to the town for payment to number and total amounts from each fund. Therefore, be it resolved that the town board authorize the following vouchers paid. General, $324,479.27. Highway, $143,349.12. Phoenicia Water, $9,894.84. Pine Hill Water, $1,062.81. No numbers for Phoenicia Lights. Pine Hill Sign, $33.35. Chichester Lights, $84.67. No numbers for Pine Hill Lights. Shandaken Septic, $16,770. Heritage, $691.67 for a total of $496,765.73, and move its adoption.
Second.
Board Member Drake?
Yes.
Board Member Nysel?
Yes.
Board Member Steen?
Yes.
Board Member Van Blarkum?
Yes.
Supervisor DeScalani?
Yes.
Resolution 115-24, resolution of the Town of Shandaken Town Board determining no adverse impacts on the environment for local law number 4 of 2024 STR. Whereas the Town of Shandaken Town Board is in consideration of amending local law
Yeah, that's how.
2 of 2022 short-term rental law, and therefore be it resolved that the Town of Shandaken Town Board has determined that the approval of the Town of Shandaken local law number 4 of 2024 will not have significant adverse impacts on the environment, and be it further resolved that the Town Board authorizes the Town Supervisor to take such further steps as necessary to discharge the Board's responsibility as lead agency for this action, including but not limited to the issuance of a negative declaration consistent with this resolution, and move its adoption.
Second.
Board Member Drake?
Yes.
Board Member Nysel?
Yes.
Board Member Steen?
Yes.
Board Member Van Blarkum?
Yes.
Supervisor DeScalani?
Yes. Resolution 11624, resolution to amend short-term rental law LL number 4 of 2024. Whereas the Town of Shandaken Town Board held a public hearing to amend the short-term rental law LL2 number 2 of 22, and whereas the Shandaken Housing Smart Task Force recommended various changes to said STR law, and whereas the following is a discussion of the Town Board, the following addition to the law is proposed. LL2 of 22, Section 3, P, only one STR rentable dwelling unit shall be allowed per parcel. Therefore, be it resolved, the Town of Shandaken approves the amendments to local law number 2 of 2022, short-term rentals. Therefore, be it resolved that parcels with no active STR violations that have multiple units included under an existing STR license shall have the right to rent these same units for as long as they maintain their STR license and remain in full compliance with all other provisions of this amended law. And I move its adoption.
Second.
Board Member Drake?
Yes.
Board Member Nysel?
Yes.
Board Member Steen?
Yes.
Board Member Van Blarkum?
Yes.
Supervisor DeScalani?
Yes.
Resolution 117-24, lower non-resident STR license cap. Whereas local law number 2, actually, of 2022,
Yeah, 2.
Section 3, Part 2, Paragraph B, established a cap of 150 on the number of short-term rental STR licenses that may be issued to non-residents. And whereas that same law states that the town board may adjust the caps by resolution from time to time, and whereas the Shandaken Housing Smart Task Force recommended the town reduce the number of licenses available to non-residents, therefore be it resolved, the town of Shandaken establishes a cap of 100 STR licenses for non-residents with existing license holders with no STR violations against their parcels to be allowed to renew their licenses, and move its adoption.
Second.
Board Member Drake?
Yes.
Board Member Nysel?
Yes.
Board Member Steen?
Yes.
Board Member Van Blarkum?
Yes.
Supervisor DeScalani?
Yes.
Resolution 118-24, accept bids Glenbrook Park repairs.
Oh. So we're not gonna do the prices, we're gonna just do the names and the addresses. And tomorrow I'll load on the website, under bids requests, all the bidders and everything there, and the board members, you'll all get it by email. Okay, first one is Alfaro Group, which I don't have the address yet. Okay, the Alfaro Group is 110 Waterworks Road, Phoenicia, New York. Second one is Exterior Solutions, 190 Cardinal Road, Hyde Park, New York. That's a nice, simple one. Third one is Evergreen Mountain, 25 Evergreen Mountain Road, Westkill, New York.
Yeah.
This one is Nolan Wilder. Some may just be for certain parts, explain it to folks. Some are the roof, some are this, some are...
It was a multiple, it was written as a
Yes,
multiple
different
award bid.
projects. His address is 5309 Route 212, Mount Tremper, New York. Brian Hommel, Hommel, 749 Kings Highway, Saugerties, New York. And the last one is Allegiant, Allegiant Electric, 44 Broad Street, Kinderhook, New York.
Where in New York?
Kinderhook.
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 Columbia County.
All right. We'll get them scanned tomorrow.
Okay. We accept the bids.
We accept those bids.
Okay, so, just read the resolution as is, right? And
Yep,
where it says qualified bidders, those are the ones.
yep.
Whereas pursuant to Resolution 101-2024, the Town of Shandaken Town Board advertised for bids for repairs to the Glenbrook Park Pavilion and bathroom located at 4872 Route 42 Shandaken, SBL 5.13-2-25.100. Whereas bids were received at the Town Clerk's Office, Shandaken Town Hall, 7209 Route 28, P.O. Box 67, Shandaken, New York 12480, no later than 3 p.m. on Monday, October 7th, 2024, with bids that were opened at the Town Board meeting at the same date at 7 p.m. Therefore, be it resolved that the following bids were received and accepted as qualified bidders. Those bidders. Be it further resolved, a special meeting has been scheduled to award the bid on Tuesday, October 15th, 2024 at 6 p.m. Shandaken Town Hall, and move its adoption.
Second.
Board Member Drake?
Yes.
Board Member Nysel?
Yes.
Board Member Steen?
Yes.
Board Member Van Blarkum?
Yes.
Supervisor Discopani?
Yes.
Resolution 1/2024, set public hearing on 2025 preliminary town budget. Whereas a public hearing is held every year for the purpose of hearing all those in favor or against the adoption of a preliminary budget for the town of Shandaken as the annual budget. Therefore, be it resolved, the town board of the town of Shandaken will meet and review the 2025 preliminary budget and hold a public hearing thereon at the Shandaken Town Hall on Wednesday, November 6, 2024 at 6:30 p.m. preceding the regular monthly meeting. And at such hearing, any person may be heard in favor of or against the preliminary budget as compiled, or for or against any items or items therein contained, and move its adoption.
Second.
Board Member Drake?
Yes.
Board Member Nysel?
Yes.
Board Member Steen?
Yes.
Board Member Van Blarkum?
Yes.
Supervisor Discopani?
Yes.
Resolution 121-24, set meeting adopting Town of Shandaken Local Law Number 5 of 2024, a local law to override the tax levy limit established in General Municipal Law, Article 3C. Whereas the Town of Shandaken foresees the necessity to exceed the tax levy limit established in General Municipal Law, Article 3C, and therefore be it resolved, the Town of Shandaken Board will hold a special meeting and a public hearing on...
Would that be the same night? I wasn't sure.
Could be, couldn't it?
Yeah, you do the same
Yeah,
night.
we could do it the same night, just,
Yep. Okay,
November
so
6th.
Wednesday, November 6th.
Wednesday, November 6th at 6:30 p.m.
Well,
At the Shandaken, at 6 p.m.
well,
The other one's at 6:30, 6:15, 6:30?
or 6:45, 6:15?
Yeah. 6? Half hour for it?
You don't need a half hour for that.
6:15.
The levy, 6:15,
Yeah.
right, Kevin?
I think.
For the levy?
Yeah, probably not,
Should
but
be fairly routine.
Yeah, the levy should be fine. Yeah, sorry, it's just the levy. 6:15. At the Shandaken Town Hall, 7209 Route 28, Shandaken, New York, 12480, to hear all those in favor and against the adoption of said law in accordance with general municipal law and move its adoption.
Second.
Board Member Drake?
yes.
Board Member Nysel?
Yes.
Board Member Steen?
Yes.
Board Member Van Blarkum?
Yes.
Supervisor DeScalani?
Yes. Resolution 12224, resolution approving public assembly permit for the Phoenicia Turkey Trot. Whereas the Town of Shandaken Town Board, under Section 59 of the Town of Shandaken Code, has sole authority to approve applications for the purpose of public assembly in excess of 500 persons. And whereas the Town Board recognizes the benefit of public events to the economy of the town and also recognizes the necessity to provide adequate protections and a safe environment for its residents and participants alike. Whereas the town is in receipt of documentation illustrating compliance under the law, providing the necessary insurance, permits, security, parking, lighting, sanitation, emergency, and evacuation requirements. Whereas the town board is satisfied with the application from the Phoenicia Turkey Trot for their event to be held in Phoenicia on Saturday, November 30th from 2024 from 7 a.m. until 4 p.m. Therefore, be it resolved that the Town of Shandaken Town Board hereby approves the permit for the public assembly of the Phoenicia Turkey Trot for their event, and that a certified copy of this resolution will suffice as approval certificate. And I move its adoption.
Second,
Board Member Drake?
yes.
Board Member Nysel?
Yes.
Board Member Steen?
Yes.
Board Member Van Blarkum?
Yes.
Supervisor DeScalani?
Yes.
Resolution 123-24, naming Pine Hill Bridge in honor of Nancy Smith. Whereas Nancy Smith was born and lived in Pine Hill, a hamlet of the town of Shandaken, for more than 50 years. Whereas Nancy Smith was appointed by Superintendent Wayne Gutman and approved by the action of the Shandaken Town Board in 1984 to be the official historian of the town of Shandaken. Whereas Nancy Smith was the founder of the Town of Shandaken Historical Museum that opened its doors in the hamlet of Pine Hill on October 21st, 1989, at the old Pine Hill Schoolhouse located at 26 Academy Street, Pine Hill, New York. Therefore, be it resolved, in honor of Nancy Smith's passion to preserve the past for the future, the Town of Shandaken Town Board hereby honors Nancy Smith by naming the bridge that connects the hamlet of Pine Hill with the Town of Shandaken Historical Museum on Academy Street, Pine Hill, as the Nancy Smith Bridge, and moves its adoption.
Second.
Board Member Drake?
Yes.
Board Member Nysel?
Yes.
Board Member Steen?
Yes.
Board Member Van Blarkum?
Yes.
Supervisor DeScalani?
Yes.
Resolution number 124-24, resolution to appoint Phoenicia Water Committee members. Whereas under Section 20 of the town law, the town board shall designate all appointed officers and employees of the town. Therefore, be it resolved that Carrie Henderson, Barbara Mansfield, and Catherine Haber be appointed to the Phoenicia Water Committee at no compensation, and be it further resolved that this committee be charged with ensuring the maintenance and function of the Phoenicia Water District by evaluating expenses, fund balances, and water rates, evaluating vendors and practices, reviewing water-related facilities and ensuring their operation, reviewing and prioritizing water district capital improvements, identifying grant other funding opportunities for the water district, assisting the district water commissioner and other water district staff, recommending to the Shandaken Town Board any changes as may be needed to best facilitate ongoing operations, and move its adoption.
Second.
Board Member Drake?
Yes.
Board Member Nysel?
Yes.
Board Member Steen?
Yes.
Board Member Van Blarkum?
Yes.
Supervisor DeScalani?
Yes.
Resolution 12524, commit $200,000 from ARPA funds for town hall relocation. Whereas the Shandaken Town Hall and Highway Department building are located in a special flood hazard area, and whereas the town recently completed a feasibility study of potential parcels that could be viable for the construction of one or more municipal facilities, and whereas the town is actively working with the CWC, DEC, and other organizations who may be able to assist in relocating the town hall and/or highway department building, and whereas American Rescue Plan Act funds, ARPA, are to be expended or encumbered before December 31st, 2024, therefore be it resolved the town of Shandaken commits $200,000 from our town ARPA funds to be encumbered toward land acquisition, construction, and any other costs necessary for the relocation of the Shandaken Town Hall and/or Highway Department, and move its adoption.
Second.
Board Member Drake?
Yes.
Board Member Nysel?
Yes.
Board Member Steen?
Yes.
Board Member Van Blarkum?
Yes.
Supervisor DeScalani?
Yes.
Resolution 126-24, resolution Assistant Dog Enforcement Officer. Whereas under Article 20 of the Town Law, the Town Board shall designate all appointed officers and employees of the town. Therefore, be it resolved, the Town Board hereby appoints Olivia Amentia, Assistant Dog Enforcement Officer, to be paid per diem at $20 per hour. Be it further resolved, the Town Board hereby accepts Thomas Ronaldo's resignation as Assistant Dog Enforcement Officer, and move its adoption.
Second.
Board Member Drake?
Yes.
Board Member Nysel?
Yes.
Board Member Steen?
Yes.
Board Member Barkham?
Yes.
Supervisor DeScalani?
Yes.
I know.
Wait, I wrote it incorrectly.
For some reason, it was close. Olivia didn't know that, so I'll fix it before she does.
She's watching.
Before we go to open public comment, I'm going to make a motion that we go into executive session on a personnel issue.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
So we'll have open public comment, then we're going to go into executive session, and feel free to say goodnight. We'll adjourn the meeting after we get back, but... Yes, Jan?
I'm Jan Jaffe, and I'm wearing my hat as the president of the Wellington Blueberry LLC. As many of you know, there are a lot of commercial historic properties in Pine Hill that do not have parking because they were built before there were cars, and the Wellington is one of them. We're in the process of putting together our application to the planning board, and we've hired an engineer to do a site plan, and we're going to do our best to put some parking on the grounds, but we're really limited. The Alton Creek runs through the property, and the slopes don't lend themselves to a lot of parking, but we're going to do our best to try to at least have one spot for each, well, to try at most to have one spot for each of the 10 apartments. I'm not sure we can do that. I'm just going to be honest about it. We will not be able to comply with the code, which would require 1.5 spaces for each unit and 6 spaces for the commercial section, the grocery store that we hope to put in. So we're really pleased that the town is looking into the Botini site as an option. And we're also hoping that the town will make some consideration for the parking regulation, section 116-24, subsection C, that is currently on our code book, that allows for provision of off-street parking spaces by making a payment, a one-time payment in lieu of parking. I know this was done in Phoenicia recently with the pharmacy, and we're hoping that the town will consider doing this for the Wellington. I'm bringing it up now because it's very expensive to have an engineer doing the site plan, and the more parameters we can give them about what's feasible is really helpful. So to get a sense from the town about whether the town would consider this as an option would be appreciated.
I put it out to our county supervisors, if and what they have for municipal parking and what they do. I mean, we have the law, we don't have a fee schedule for it per se, so we have to try and figure out what a reasonable and realistic fee schedule would be for each parking space that is essentially given for a property that doesn't have enough. Understood that, your property it's pre-existing, it was built before parking was an issue.
Well, we're hoping that as the town looks at that, they'll consider the fact that this particular project is not being done for profit.
Understood.
That
Yeah.
we're doing our best to save a property that has been not been well cared for 20 years, and it's going to be about $5 million in rehabilitation costs. So we're really hoping that we can work something out with the town.
course.
And I'm going to assume from some of you nodding your head that that's a possibility. Thank you.
Yeah.
Last time I'll come up here tonight, but so the farmers market has 3 more weeks outside at our Parish Field location before we move to our winter home at the Pine Hill Community Center on November 10th. So mark your calendar. We are collaborating with other businesses and organizations there to do a community crawl to just kind of make it a big celebration in the hamlet. And so please come out. It's Veterans Day weekend, and all veterans will get Fresh Connect checks to shop at the market, so please come. But before moving, I just wanted to share some things we accomplished this summer since we opened in May. We ran weekly, every single week, not a single cancellation since May 19th. And through that, we survived a mini tornado. We chased away a black bear. We redeemed over $2,000 in SNAP benefits, meaning we kept dollars with local farmers and producers and helped get nutritious, healthy food to people in our community. We rescued hundreds of pounds of fresh produce, which we did with the help of sponsorship from local businesses. And then we donated that food to the Phoenicia Food Pantry, to the Morton Memorial Library and Pine Hill Pantry Program, and to the Shandaken Summer Rec Camp. We also hosted free kids crafts, local live musicians, educational outreach from area organizations including the Shandaken Historical Museum, Ulster County Planning, Ashoka Watershed Stream Management Program, Catskill Neighbors, Catskill Regional Invasive Species Program, and more. And again, with the support of dozens of Shandaken businesses, including individual donors, and with the help of our partner organizations. And I just want to give a special shout out to our entire team of volunteers, which include Hillary, Sarah, Geesey, Sienna, James, Ashley, Taylor, Catherine, Leah, Katie, and JP. And it just continues to be a bright spot, I think, for a lot of people. I know for myself, it's my favorite time of week. I've only missed one Sunday personally, but it really is just a joy to be there. I'm happy to see neighbors. I'm happy to meet new people. I'm happy to host people from out of town. So we're excited to move to our winter home on November 10th, but please come out. We have 3 more weekends. Next weekend, we have Ravensbeard. Ellen Collish is bringing birds of prey to the farmer's market. That's pretty cool. And the Emerson is our sponsor of the week. The following week, we'll have pumpkin carving with Hoppy Quick. Both of these activities were organized by Tanya Bariclo of Catskill Mountain Roots. We will also have a puppy costume contest. That's right. On our final market day on October 27th, where we'll also have a Caribbean grill pop-up vendor, so many things to happen.
Question.
Yeah.
Is the contest people dressed as puppies or puppies wearing costumes?
Interpret it as you will, but if you came dressed as a puppy, I'm sure you would be in the running. But in theory, it's for dogs. But
could have gone either way.
But hey, I would please surprise us with something. We'd love people to be creative. But yeah, so thank you everyone for your support and everybody else for coming to the market.
On the matter of last month about hourly wages, I have been in contact with the controller's office. I was wondering, and we've been talking back, I was wondering if the board has decided anything about using the hourly worksheets. Since your resolutions specifically say max amount, they don't say to just take an amount divided by 52.
I'm sorry, what is it you're asking?
Okay, so last month I asked about your wages for certain people, say hourly wage with a max amount.
Yeah.
Correct? Building department, zoning department.
Yeah.
You don't have any hourly worksheets. You don't have any hourly sheets. How do you pay people on an hourly wage without them reporting their hours?
Well, as I think Robert or Ellie said, we originally paid her a salary. I don't know why I threw in the hourly thing on the year
Doesn't
after
matter,
for
I'm not
that,
talking about one person
for that
in particular.
one.
You're talking about 6, 7 people that you have last January that you
Pay a salary.
not salary, hourly wage or the max amount. That does not mean that they should make the max amount in a year. That means it's a max amount they can make.
Right.
Am I correct? So do you have you done anything with hourly worksheets so that you know how to pay people? Or are you just still going ahead with dividing it by 52 or whatever you should have, whatever you decide to divide by?
Yeah, that's what we do. Divided by.
And that's the way the whole board's going to continue going.
To answer your question, we haven't made a decision. To answer your initial question, we haven't come to a decision, no.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah.
Just to clarify, when I left office, every hourly employee had a time card. It's just the way we did it. We had a time card. There was nobody on salary outside of elected, but except for Chad and Rich. Anyway, back to the...
Except for who?
Chad and Rich. They were salaried. Back to the $4,000 raise that Peter's proposed in the budget. We go through this every year about raises for elected officials. Number one, again, I have no intention of running for town board or anything again. I'm done here. But I will tell you, if that job is done properly, I don't think that job and the assessor should all be the equal pay. The supervisor is much more time, a lot more information, a lot more knowledge. He supersedes the other offices as well. So I think there should be a separation and distinction between the supervisor, the town clerk, and the assessor, number one. Number two, I know in previous years you guys have said you want to raise the salary for supervisor to try to entice other people to try to run. I applaud that effort. I think you should, because it's not a lot of money for what you want somebody to do if they do it properly. What I'm saying is don't approve a budget raise for him this year. Next year in January, knowing there's an election, propose an increase of $10,000. Put it to $50,000 for somebody to run for supervisor of this town before the primaries are done, before people go around with their petitions. Instead of getting 3 people running for the board, maybe we get 6 or 7 if we start upping these salaries a little bit to where it's more reasonable. Again, I applaud the effort in trying to raise the salary for the supervisor. But when I see things like this ridiculousness that was put out tonight, when I see shortfalls for $40,000, when you see expenses or things being done without board approval, it's my understanding, I've heard from an employee, that the health care was changed solely by Peter's decision, which is not a thing you can do because you have to sign a contract. That requires board approval. So again, I would ask that people look at what Peter's doing and watch carefully. It's not a dictatorship. It's to work together in unison. You guys have a say. And I know how frustrating it can be. I can't even imagine how frustrating it can be, because when I came out, I thought maybe Joyce was going to show up tonight and say there was a typo, we misrepresented, we put the wrong one out there. But to sit here and then present it as if it's a legitimate budget was absolutely ridiculous. I would ask you to reconsider the raise and reconsider the way we do the raise. Offer it as an enticement for elected officials to come. That way, if Peter does choose to run again, if he does get reelected, he's earned it outright. Instead of doing it like a meritorious thing, because I really don't think he deserves it. Thank you for your time.
Any other comments tonight?
One more comment. This is something I found when you said, as well as anybody in the room. Why don't you need $500,000? Why don't we usually...
Oh, yeah,
Howard Gudinski. Howard Gudinski. Why don't you need $500,000 for the park to renovate?
I'm sorry, what was the question?
You're thinking of giving them, this group, you're thinking of giving them parkings for Pine Hill. My question is, why would you ever need $500,000 for a parking to renovate?
Is that a
How
question?
is that a
I mean,
$500,000?
is that a question for the board? That is not town business.
Oh, okay. I don't understand when it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
Any other comments?
On town business?
On town business, yes.
Just one quick reminder that we have Phoenicia Festival and Scarecrow Contest on October 19th. If you'd like to participate in the Scarecrow Contest, you can reach out to phoeniciarotary@gmail.com. And if you want to be a vendor, you can reach out to Heather Craig. Her information's on the flyer. Joyce will post that if she hasn't already, which probably you have. Also, the 26th is our trunk or treat and Halloween parade at the Phoenicia Elementary School. Also, if you want to sign up for that, reach out to Heather. That information should also be out on Facebook and
The website.
And the website.
And I also got Pine Hills, they just posted theirs today,
Yeah.
they have on Halloween.
On the 31st.
I
Yeah.
know, how cool is
They
that?
always do that. Thank you.
Thanks, Sam. All right, I'm going to make the motion that we go into executive session.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. hurry up and sit down, Pete, so we can leave.
Man, I can only move so fast. Make a motion to close the executive session.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. We talked about a personnel issue and made a decision. Can't say anything more than that. I'm making a motion to adjourn the regular town board meeting in memory of Lynn Byron, Judy Wagner, Marjorie Himber, and Robert Nussbaum. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Good night, everybody.